Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Max the Curse of Brotherhood. Let's continue. So we're in this breakout level. We've somewhat freed our brother Felix, but he's still trapped in a giant steel ball that we're going to have to push around. We can see there's 4 evil eyes and a secret here, but this could be the end of the game. It could be. I suspect it won't be. In a lot of ways, this feels like this is far too much of a game built around the concept of people teaching themselves how to use the Unity engine to program physics, and honestly not even really doing a great job at that. I guess we should just try this. Game over if you do kill your brother. That is understandable that you wouldn't program anything special along that. Let's see if how much momentum he'll gain on his own. Alright, so if they get near you, you're doomed. Right. It's not really setting you up perfectly to succeed here, in that you really need to be further along on the right than it starts you at. I was hoping to see if perhaps I could get all 3 of them on the branch, but that seems wrong. Doesn't seem like that's possible. Alright, well. The problem with a lot of these sequences is it's okay for it to be kind of a surprise, but yeah, you can't even get 2 of them really on the branch. But then you get double surprised, you get triple surprised. As soon as you check one point, it has a lot of the feeling of what happened in Space Ace. Like Space Ace, also interesting. You can't draw another branch. Was this Laserdisc game that was programmed, the Laserdisc player itself was programmed to randomly play scenes, and you would just have a very short amount of time to figure out which direction on the controller or which button you were supposed to press. And if you failed, you would die, and then you would
Sorry.
yeah, you would fail and you would die, and depending on how they had programmed the Space Ace arcade machine, you would have a certain number of lives.
Sorry.
I hope that's safe to do that. Yep. But we do seem to constantly run into this problem where it is just kind of more of the same, in that it's a little dangerous and you just have to die once before you know what the right move is. And see, if they were going to repeat things on a theme like this, they really should have probably... That's probably not far enough along, we could do something like that and be safe. Like, this probably should have been more of a tutorial that we did earlier, before we started getting chased.
Yes.
Now Max himself, is he going to be able to make that jump? I guess probably the goal here is start with this.
All right.
Okay. Then possibly start with something like that. Maybe even something like that. And don't awkwardly jump off the edge. Obviously. You can really tell how you're kind of playing two different games here. Like, one game is very much drawing on the screen and playing around with those physics. And one game is very much a platforming game. Alright. Alright. But I kind of don't know what I'm supposed to do here. It feels like I could grab the ledge here. Feels like that should have worked. And the danger certainly would be that if you got into like a loop where this just kind of tossed you back, that wouldn't save you. Like, and then you would die awkwardly trying to very quickly rewrite the whole thing. Yep, this is kind of a great example of that. So now there's no way to recover that. And it really is just going to leave you hanging on this puzzle. If you can't figure it out, if you can't figure out the one solution right after the next solution, it's probably not going to help you. We saw in one previous case the game help us somewhat, but I think that was a one-time thing. Like, yeah, it really was just a case of you needed to get good. Yep. And there was just nothing else to it. And there we see a statue for the first time, which feels like you should have been seeing that statue for a long time previous. And we'll get another blood-curdling death scream out of this. I think him saying "let's go" is probably an indicator of it, the idea that you have to go with him. And we are going to just spider walk our way down this path. Yeah, was it really helpful in any way to introduce those three enemies, or did the game simply want to remind you that the enemies existed? Because that seems oddly unnecessary. Here we can see an eyeball and a timing puzzle, which I could certainly see some people not recognizing that that was a timing puzzle. But apparently we've already missed one evil eye, which that sucks. And I can't help but suspect what's going to happen here is that we're going to realize that we accidentally have just been laying the groundwork to have the bad guy end up exactly where have our brother end up exactly where the bad guy wanted him. I guess the hope here is you really are just done with interacting with the bad guys by the time they are mostly used, because there's just kind of the default solution here is just going to always be the default solution. Okay, so I'm going to let this guy go. Drop this out of the way. Watch it get shot up.
Sorry, Felix.
Notice that there was a cutscene there, which is kind of odd. And there is a whole nother secret. That worked terribly. That shouldn't have happened. Some of the problems with how this physics works are fairly easily fixed by just having certain things not interact with each other. For instance, just have clipping, as it's called, turned on for the vines always when they touch branches, and that problem wouldn't have happened. Have clipping on maybe the X-axis for branches turned off from max so that he can always walk behind or in front of a branch, but then on the y-axis, if it's above you, he can still stand on it. That would be a little awkward, but it would feel kind of intuitive, I think, more than you would think. Seems like if we stand where we are, you're safe. And throwing fire on that does nothing. And doing that does nothing. And it's very noticeable here how the whole system just stops, and the whole puzzles and action sections stop for a puzzle conflict event. And that's not gonna work. So either there's an angle here, or you're gonna have to actively go and grab that branch. If you draw it down at an angle here, it's not gonna go anywhere. You can't control this. You can't tell Felix to do anything. If you do this, and then this, it's always gonna end up like that. I guess maybe you have a chance of wiggling it. Like, I can't help but feel like this is just another example of them not really testing their game right. If the real solution is to get it up on its side so it falls down, so then it inches its way over, that's pretty crazy. There, it's been a while since we've had the whole badass phrase used. And clearly you could have just fixed that by moving a few pixels one way or the other, and it just doesn't feel like that level of care was ever put into this game. Inherently, I think there is a lot of game developers out there that want to learn physics and want to learn like programming, and instead of it being taught in school, which I would certainly believe the idea that there are not that many good video game programming colleges, ones that would specialize in being a physics engineer or something like that. Like, I could totally buy into that thought, certainly. Okay. In this, I am not going to reach this. So, to get there, I probably have to draw a super long platform here. And now that everything else is adjusted, I think I'm safe to drag this fairly far to the left. But yeah, at a certain level, this is just unexcusably too experimental around the physics. And when this game came out, I wouldn't particularly call this a point where physics were a totally brand new thing. Every generation of games tries to put even more physics in their games, certainly, and such, but honestly, this does just kind of like feel like a fresh out of college programmer or programming team. Yeah.
Another piece.
Playing around with the physics idea. Like the fact that I could just smash the A button and force a triple jump, double jump there, instead of there being a solid, obvious solution to reach that high place, is not impressive at all. Let's see. Perhaps the trick was I was supposed to go over here to go up here, but there's nothing up here. There's not even an evil eye up here. Do I not want to look downward and see what's down? Oh, there's nothing down. Okay. I thought there was a gate there. It's a little too much in fog and shadow for my eyes. Arguably, my eyesight may be getting worse and worse with age. Here's a great example of where physics aren't working well. And the fact that I'm having to kind of focus and only talk about physics really shows just the limited amount of gameplay mechanics this game has. Right. Okay. Meanwhile, we'll see what's the deal with this. You can go all the way to the left. You can all go all the way to the right. And here we have another evil eye. We are dangerously getting close to a point where it might be worth it to try and get all the collectibles. And that's going to be annoying, certainly, if I no longer really have a good justification not to try to 100% it. This is probably the end. And I don't know if we're gonna have a big boss fight or what. Like, through any door at any point, there could just be a random turn of events. Like, we could end up fighting the bad guy. Over here is nothing, but oddly it does seem like there's lava. Well, you're seeing these little splashes of lava for no reason. There's a slight question as far as how is Max going to get out of this area? It's just going to open the staircase for you. Interesting. That seems far too convenient. It also stopped the punching up and over actions of the pistons. Also, it highlighted that door like it needed to be exploded, which could have left a decent number of players certainly just wondering where is the purple fire to cause an explosion in that area, because that solution is different than what has been established before.
Shall we go further? Should I thank you for your help, Max? See you never. Please, finish him! No!
Okay. And so we have a big chase sequence here, but we see there's no evil eyes, and there's only one secret. So I assume this is probably the end of the level, and I kind of assume that this is not going to be another 30 minutes. We could end the episode here, and I guess we will end the episode here. So many times I've gotten towards the end of the series, and I've just said to myself, well, let's just go on. It could only be 5 more minutes, and that 5 more minutes very quickly turns into an hour, 2 hours. Like, I've had so many last episodes in series that are 2 or 3 times as long as every other episode that I think I'm going to try and learn my lesson this time and just end the episode here. Next episode, we'll do the run sequence and probably finish the game. There might be credits. Who knows how long those will be. And if we need to do anything else to try to make it another a little bit longer, we'll definitely contemplate going back and trying to get some of the missed secrets and missed evil eyes. Although I'm not particularly motivated to do any of that. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and give me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.